Alright, hello everyone. I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux, your local satanist out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we are here tonight with something a little bit different. I know I say that all the time, but this is going to be very, very different. Tonight, now it's actually 11 o'clock on the dot. I've managed to start on time, and we are going to spend the evening. Now, the goal is to go an hour. If we end up not having enough content for an hour, then we'll cut it a little bit short. But hopefully, we'll get a little bit of participation in tonight. This is going to be an audio only stream. I am hanging out here live in the UNN studio game room, and we're going to be talking about all things paranormal. Now, if this show takes off and we end up able to do this like every week or every other week, or whatever it may be, I'm sure we'll have special topics for the night. Ghost one night, UFOs the next, may even have a Sasquatch night, stuff like that. But I would enjoy likening this to something along the lines of like a coast to coast AM. I don't think I'll be able to go all night, but yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to sit around and just kind of chat paranormal stuff, whether it be movies or real life happenings, because just letting everybody know I am 100% a believer in the paranormal, and I'm one of those people that says unless it's been totally proven to not be real, there's always a possibility that it's real. So I am going to be watching the chat. We already have a couple of people hanging out in the chat tonight. We have Joel, good friend of ours, as well as Raven is in the chat. And if anybody has anything they'd like to add in the chat, please feel free. We will be watching the chat tonight, and this is broadcasting live on our Facebook at facebook.com/Untitled Nerd Network. We will also be adding this after it airs to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Untitled Nerd Network. I'm going to do an audio only thing tonight, just because I think audio only, whenever you're just sitting back listening to this, you don't have me like just kind of sitting here doing all of my, movements and mannerisms and stuff. I think it gives more of a kind of a creepy air to the show. Now, I do want to let everybody know we will be taking audio calls on Google Hangouts. Send us a Hangout request. It's going to be audio only at unnentries@gmail.com. Please feel free to hop in and send us a request for that, and we will chat live on the air. Joel says he's seen several UFOs and ghosts. Witnessed quite a bit myself. Raven says, ever hear of the SCP Foundation? No, I've never heard of that, Michael. Feel free to enlighten me. Russ is here. Welcome to the stream. Where's your face? I'm not streaming video tonight. I'm trying out audio only with this kind of dark screen and everything, just to kind of add to the air of creepiness tonight. And read all of the SCP stories as a comic on Manga Rock. Now, I've never heard of that. I have a collector of old-time radio shows as well, so I love them. Plus, I've listened to Coast and Coast since I was a kid. I used to listen to Coast to Coast AM back when I worked. I used to have I work nights now, kinda. I'm usually like 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. type, but I used to work like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. at my other job, and I would drive around and listen to the radio. And Coast to Coast was one of those cool things. Sometimes they had some stuff that I didn't particularly care for on there, stuff that couldn't keep my interest, but overall it was a very good show, and I absolutely love it. But let's see, Michael says the running theory is that the best place to hide a secret, dangerous organization is in a very public, well-known area. Now, okay. Now, like I'll be completely honest with y'all. I'm just kind of winging this. Like I didn't have really any kind of layout or anything, or any kind of chart sitting here in front of me to kind of let everybody know, you know, where we're going with this. We're just kind of rolling with it. I like the idea where you're saying how to secret dangerous organization. It's funny because I've given this some thought, and it's like, I often, usually about once a week we'll drive around like downtown Chattanooga, and I don't know how many of you have been to Chattanooga, Tennessee, but you'll drive around. I'm sure this is the case in just about any city, but I'll go driving around about once a week, and I just randomly looking around. And Chattanooga is one of those cities where there are a lot of like brick buildings and things like that. Like you'll be driving up a street going from like point A to point B, and in the meantime, over the course of about a quarter mile, you'll pass a dozen or more just plain brick buildings that maybe have like a chain lock on them, or they look like an abandoned building, but you can tell that it's locked up. There may or may not be somebody in there. There's cars parked there sometimes there's not. And you really, like, there's no windows, and you really have no freaking clue what's going on in there. I put the thing for voice calls in the chat. Yeah, we will. This is going to be Google Hangouts. So, I don't know if, like, you can, like, for me, I can access it on Gmail. Uh, like on my PC, I can hop on and do like go to Gmail, and it'll give me an option to like call people. So let's see, on Google Hangouts, Gmail audio. I am typing it into the chat right now. That's the place that you want to call in, and I will be kind of half monitoring. I'm just making sure. I'm kind of like sitting here playing this by ear. Okay, there we go. Just make sure everything's good. I don't want somebody to call and then me end up missing it. So yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna get to what you're talking about, Joel, because we actually have already done that. Um. So anyway, we are. I've looked at a lot of these places, like going down the street, and it's funny because you never know what's in these places. Like you really, for real, never freaking know. Like you're going down the street, and I almost feel like if you like, I don't know for sure. Um, but yeah, there's all kinds of buildings, and like you don't know, you have no freaking clue what's in them. And it's like I almost feel like if you went to City Hall or something and tried to be like, hey, can I get the records on this address? Like, is it just me, or does anybody else get the feeling like you would probably get the runaround? Like, does that, you know? Red Eyes in Cornfields. Once saw them when I was a kid visiting my uncle. I've heard that there are a set of glowing eyes down in the Chickamauga battlefield about 30 minutes south of us. Um, yeah, true story. But, okay, so building in Chattanooga, there's one building that looks almost abandoned, but inside is a very expensive recording studio. Been in there, and it's insane. Now, see, you never know. You never know what's going to be in these places. Now, I will say, if anybody wants to, I'm going to go ahead and open up. Let's see. Ding. Okay, there we go. So, yeah. Feel free to call in and chat with me. Now, I will say, anybody calls in and screws around or does any kind of prank calls or whatever, I'm not going to give you the time of day. You'll just be cut off and blocked. So, I mean, if anybody wants to try their hand at prank phone calls tonight, be my guest, but it ain't going to last long. Just thought I would go ahead and nip that real quick. But yeah, Children of the Corn. Now, Joe was talking about going on a ghost hunt. We went on a ghost hunt on October 13th, 2017. Now, we did do a ghost tour with the Chattanooga Ghost Tours. Our friend Hope, she hosted the whole thing. We went through there. We did ghost tour with them. We broadcasted it live, and then later on, we were told by some parties that were running the deal that we had to take it down, that they didn't want us broadcasting the whole ghost tour because that was, like their business, and they didn't want you to be able to go on there and get the tour for free, basically. So I totally understood that. But yeah. Okay, so basically, if you stop to look, they will take you away. Are you talking about the glowing red eyes in the fields? I'm not going to stop and look at a cornfield. Like, number one, I'm not going to stop and look at a cornfield in the dark. Number two, I'm not going to stop and look at a cornfield in the dark if there are red eyes glowing in the meantime. It doesn't sound like a good idea. I mean, whoever else may think, but that's usually how most horror movies start, is there's always one person who is the brave one, and it's like, oh, there's nothing to be afraid of. The next thing you know, his skin's hanging on a wall somewhere. So, if anybody is having, anybody's having any problems getting through, be sure to let me know in the chat. If you're trying to do an audio call, but audio calls are open right now if anybody wants to join. We are going to be talking about a number of different things, but if anybody has anything on your mind tonight, feel free to hop in and say hello, or call me up here and you'll be live on the air with Untitled Nerd Network. All the places now you can go on your own tour. I would like to, Joel, but I don't know. I feel like I want somebody who knows what they're doing, because Hope had all kinds of neat stuff, all kinds of little devices and stuff. Russ actually, Russ, I was there, and it was extremely creepy to me. And a lot of other people enjoyed it. I don't know why you didn't like what we were doing that night. Raven says there's a road where I grew up. Guess a bunch of kids died there in some accident. So if you stop your car on the bridge and put your car in neutral, they will push your car over the bridge. Wow. Okay, so it looks like we have Michael joining. Hold on just a minute. Let's bring you up. Hello.
Hey, Lonnie.
Hey, Michael. You are on Untitled Nerd Network. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Since it's the more paranormal stream, I figure, just talk about some of the more horror stuff that, well, not really horror, but more the ghost stuff that's happened to me in my area.
Okay. I'm dying to hear it.
Well, one of the main things is in the house literally right next to the door from me, right next door, I can literally look out of one of my windows and see it. Around 18, 20 years ago, a guy murdered his fiancée there.
Ooh.
Occasionally I'll be sitting outside late at night, having a cigarette or just drinking, or just want to be outside, and I'll hear bumping around inside. The house is secured from the inside. We have checked. There's no way to enter.
Okay, that sounds like a big old case of hell no for me, but continue on.
Yeah, another time, down right up the hill from me, then down other side of the hill, there's a pavilion.
Uh-huh.
Where around 5 to 10 years ago, a group of guys took and murdered a prostitute there.
Oh, wow.
And then in the 50s, 60s, or 70s, a guy murdered 2 kids in the woods.
Dear God, dude, what is this, like a hotbed for murder? And
oh yeah, there's a lot of weird shit that happens in the area around me. The main reason why I'm bringing up about the murders up the hill from me is because I've been, the one thing I never want to do is walk there late at night.
Uh-huh.
I had to do it one time with one of my good flashlights that doesn't flicker out. Just replaced battery, light started to go out before I was even a quarter of the way in, and I went, no.
Where is this?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Wow. I mean, I've watched some ghost stuff, and I've not really heard of a lot of. Has this been featured anywhere as far as like?
No. This is just stuff I found out from people that live in the area. Like from some of the older men and women that have asked me, oh hey, do you live around here? And I say, yeah, I live on this street. And they go, oh wait, that's the house right next to the murder house, right? And I'm like, yep.
God.
And then I heard from another guy who's lived here his entire life. He's like 80. Guy murdered two kids in the down up the in the woods.
So now I'll talk to you about this if you've got a minute.
All right, no problem. I have plenty of time.
Yeah, we have. This is one of the stories I was going to tell, but I would rather somebody be here on the phone with me when I tell this, kind of get your live reaction. Now you
Okay.
hear about stuff like that, so I'm assuming you're a believer in at least
Oh,
spirits.
I've believed since I was young because right after me and my dad moved out of our old house, we moved into this great old big one. My dad used to have a cat named Morse, who's a black and white cat. It looked like he had a tuxedo on. Well, one day, like I think it was the day after we moved in, like all of our stuff, I saw him walking around in the halls. The only cat we had was Chelsea, who was a calico. So I know it wasn't her, and we had no other animals.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I got sidetracked. But another reason why I brought up the hill thing is because
yeah.
besides that one time, and I said hell no, we were leaving, like we tried to hurry our best through the woods, but one of our friends fell, dislocated his knee, so we had to carry his ass out through the woods. And I turned around, saw a white figure, turned back around and said, let's get his ass up the hill.
Oh yeah. No, I was. You were talking about all kinds of creepy things happening in the area, and this is something I actually posted about this. I'd say probably close to 6 months ago when I was younger.
Okay.
I was probably 4 years old, just old enough to where I can still kind of remember what happened.
Yeah.
We lived in a house. My dad built the house. We used to live in a trailer. Then my dad built a house right in front of it, and we bought the property and everything. And so I had my own room, and you could sit up in my parents' bed, look out their bedroom door, and look straight down the hallway to the other end of the house. Well, from my parents' bedroom, there was my room was the first door on the right. Well, my mom heard me wake up screaming one night, and this happened for 2 or 3 weeks, just 3 or 4 nights a week. And I was like, oh, there's something in my bed or in my bedroom, something come out of the closet. So my mom, being the believer that she is, she actually woke up, stayed up one night, and waited to see if anything would really happen. And she saw in the darkness about a 2.5, 3 foot tall figure run down the hall into my bedroom and heard the closet door slam shut. And so they had a preacher.
Priest?
Yeah, they had a preacher come in, bless the house. That didn't work. My grandfather was a Church of God preacher. He came in and they burnt sage. They did everything, and nothing.
Yeah,
nothing,
from personal experience, I can say that doesn't work.
that did not work.
Yeah.
So my mom got the idea. She somewhere got a golden chain with a little golden cross on it, hung it in the room, and we never had another problem. About my mom actually passed away in 2014, and then
I'm so sorry for your loss.
thank you.
You gonna say that?
So about 2018, about the first part of last year, I started having dreams where I was back in that house. Now, we sold the house back in like the mid 90s and never went back.
Oh.
I had a dream where I was in the house and in the living room on the other end of the house, and my mom appeared in the hallway and told me to never come back to that house no matter how bad I wanted to. Because I was actually thinking about, I'd like to go see the old childhood home, And I had that dream. And so I had a couple more dreams like that. And then towards the beginning of this year, I just happened to call my dad up. I was like, look, Dad, I need you to level with me here. Let me know. Did anything weird happen on that property? And he kind of got quiet. And I was like, look, just tell me. I don't care. I'm curious if any weird, Indian burial ground, anything like that. Come to find out, there
Hmm.
was about 5 or 6 years before they bought the property. A man and his wife lived there. She went to work that night. He fell asleep with a cigarette in the bed, and the house burned
And he
down.
burned to death.
Yes, and so my dad was like, "Yep, that happened," and I was like, "Why the hell didn't y'all tell me this? Why? What? Why am I 35 years old and just now hearing about this? Oh, we
Parents
didn't.
don't want to tell you if
Yeah,
things happened.
yeah, we don't want to worry you or anything like that." And so I was like, "Come on." So I've not been able. I tried to get a hold of like the local historical society and tried to look up stuff in the paper, and I haven't been able to find anything about it. But I'm worried. I don't really know for sure, but I would think that whatever it was that was bothering me then had something. It was either the ghost of that person that died, or whatever is on that property caused that death.
Yeah, the reason why I'm saying the sage doesn't work from personal experience is because when I was younger, I had something follow me, and when I talked to a few of my Wiccan friends, they flat out looked me in the eye and said, "Yeah, no, I know exactly what. There's a good chance of what I know what that is, but I'm not going to take a guess, a stab in the dark, and piss it off."
Yeah,
Because as I've grown older, whenever something weird happens, I just blow it off. Because the more attention I give it, the worse things get.
that is true. That's one of those few things that I learned is actually a legit point from horror movies. Is the more you try to screw with it and get it away and give it
Yeah,
attention, the
there's a
worse.
reason why whenever at parties, teenager, people fuck with Ouija boards. There's a reason why the moment I see a Ouija board come out, I'm out of the house. I refuse to be a part of that because personally, I've had what people have said a demon. I don't want to get another one on me, or I don't want to get have two tag team and one does Monday, one day's Tuesday. Like I don't want to. I figured out how one works. Basically, the more negative I am and the more angry I am, and the more I pay attention to it, the worse that things happen.
Oh yeah, there'll be
Like
stuff.
I have a geode that whenever it's full and I'm in a bad mood, that thing gets launched off the shelf at me. Like it goes, ooh, heavy rock, throw. And as someone who has a small room, there's nowhere to really go or dive that's not going to hurt me just as much.
Yeah, I mean, oh god, I don't think I've ever actually had anything
Attached to
personally
you.
that has. Well, I don't know that for sure because I've had some suspicions over time. Now I can say 99.9% right now that nothing is with me now.
Yeah,
Um,
but my thing is that I think it has decided to attach itself to me in particular because I'm a very friendly person. I make a lot of friends. So that means it has more people to target to mess with.
oh
Like
well.
whenever I'm
Aside from what I'm
yeah.
doing right now, I'm a recluse. I don't meet face to face with anybody, so that's probably a
Oh,
big reason why I'm not being bothered anymore.
yeah, probably because it's decided that I'm all alone and
Yeah, this
I
guy's
don't want to
boring
be
as
alone.
hell.
Yeah, like or maybe it's just maybe it's a stoner demon just sitting there, smoking demon joints all day, just watching you play games.
That's that's funny. I can only hope that if a ghost ever attaches itself to me, that it's a nerd ghost.
Yeah,
That would be like, you know what? That dude would be right at home, or woman. Who knows?
that person would be that living being would be welcome in your home.
Yes, very much.
Like there's a good chance like if I turn to a ghost, I'm gonna be chilling with you, dude. Like hey, there's a secret in that corner.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, like if there's a ghost in here, and you just leave me alone, you want to hang out and look at the nerd stuff in the studio, be my
Go right
guest.
ahead.
Just be nice to the cats. Don't freak them out. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
like my cat, I've noticed he's afraid. He whenever you go to bed, he does not like being left out of the room. He likes being in bed with someone. Like animals are a good way to. Munchkin, my cat,
Yeah.
he's a good way for me to know if something bad if something bad's about to happen.
Cats and dogs are a very good barometer of
Mm-hmm.
paranormal activity. Speaking of, come on, Loki, come on in.
Loki.
Yeah, Loki is my girlfriend Ashley, her bobtail cat, and he very much loves being in the studio with me when I'm recording and
Aw.
doing streams and
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah, and then to top it off, I also have guinea pigs now, which doesn't make my fears of this thing trying something any less.
yeah, I don't think guinea
But
pigs would be much of a help in a situation like that.
no, but I have made the threat to him, and I know it's a him because whenever I have addressed him as a female, heavier things than a rock are thrown at me.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Basically, the more I try to piss it off, obviously, the worse things get.
I do want to tell everybody listening right now. Now you know, like you're talking about, you know, physical manifestations of things, you know, flying around and stuff. Like here's the thing, like it's like I said at the beginning of the show to everybody out there. I personally believe everything until
Proven
it's
otherwise.
completely disproven. That's why
No, like
I'm a firm believer
I'm
in
the
ghost and the Loch Ness monster.
monsters, that thing until 100% proven false.
Yeah, until they drag the lock from coast to coast all the way across and determine 100% that there's not a freaking giant dinosaur swimming in that. I
A
believe.
plesiosaur.
Yeah.
That's the name of it. A plesiosaur. I was a dinosaur nerd when I was a kid. I can name quite a few dinosaur species.
Yep. So I mean, who knows? You don't know. I mean, there could be crap living at the bottom of the ocean right now.
Yeah, the Marianas Trench, the deepest point in the ocean.
Yeah. I mean, there's some.
I'm one of the believers that since the coelacanth survived millions of years, there's a decent chance so did the megalodon, the biggest shark in all of existence.
So I'm sure you've actually seen the Meg.
No, I haven't. It looked cheesy to me. I don't like people making movies off of the things that I grew up loving and thinking about all the time.
You're one of those people. I went to a thing at Chattacon, which is a local convention here that happens in January.
Chattanooga, yeah.
There was a lady. I believe her name is Stephanie Osborne, and she is retired from NASA, and she did a presentation on supervolcanoes. And I tried to bring up, I think my exact words were like, hey, in the movie 2012, was that like at all accurate as to, and she wouldn't even entertain my question because she said, she was like, that movie is so factually inaccurate on what could and couldn't happen. She's like, I don't even discuss it. And I was like, I still want to know, you know?
Yeah, no, like, honestly, I'm friends with a lot of conspiracy theorists.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, the guy who posted about the SCP Foundation. That idea that, because think about it, like, logically, the best place to hide something is to make it public knowledge, and you can look at it. Now, don't think that, every story is real, but some just might be.
Yeah.
Like, things that are, there are things that we can't explain. There are things that we've been working hundreds of years to explain away, and with today's current technology, we still don't know why certain things happen. That's kind of weird. You think one of the guys sitting there in a lab, just pretty much 30 hours a day, wouldn't realize what the solution is? Like, it's kind of iffy to me. Like, there's something going on there. And especially whenever you look something up, they make it so, this is a myth. Just let me decide for that for myself.
Yeah.
Let me look at the information I can publicly look at.
Yeah, because that's what happens a lot of times. I hate to keep pointing to movies, but usually the people who are like, oh, that's not real, are usually the ones that get killed by it when it finally manifests, you know?
Yeah,
So I'm like,
yeah, no. Yeah, my thing with monsters and demons is that until I see evidence, I'm not. Until I see evidence, I'm going to doubt it's real, but I'm also not going to be surprised whenever it turns out to be real.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, it's. I'm agnostic. I know there's probably something else out there because let's be honest, there's too many freaky things in this world that make no sense to be the way they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, my running joke with people is that if there is a god, it's a god with a sick sense of humor. It's my another I like one of the conspiracy people. They're sitting there like, ooh, it has to. We're like a marble in a kid's sack, a marble sack, just flinging it around. Some conspiracy theories hold no weight. Others, whenever you see all the evidence they have provided, you're just looking at it with a new light. Before you're like, it's fake. But then you see all the things that they point out, and you're just like, wait a second.
Yeah, I mean,
Hold on.
there's some stuff that you have a really hard time saying no to.
Yeah, like for instance, people talk to me about, my demon. I'm calling it a demon because that's what it acts like. That's what it feels like to me. They say, "Oh, it's not real. It's all in your head." Has something ever thrown a 10-pound rock at you? Have you ever walked out in the middle of the night, turned the light on in the hallway, looked up and seen a black shadow sitting there? And whenever you're not sleep deprived, whenever you're not,
Yeah, you're totally in your
tired
right
or under the
mind.
influence on something, whenever there's nothing but you in it and you are well rested.
That's funny. In the chat, Christopher says, I'm the that's not real guy. I guess I die first.
That's fair.
Now,
My thing is that
I'll
I'm the
say,
guy who would grab an axe and go, "Let's go try to kill this thing." Because
ugh,
either it kills us or we kill it.
well, I'm the guy that turns tail and hauls ass until there's nothing around anymore.
Dude, I'm slow. I got a bad leg. There's no running for me. I'm gonna either go out fighting or I'm gonna go out dying.
Oh, I'm going to be the coward. Well, hey,
Well,
hey,
Lonnie,
yep,
Lonnie, if it's like the House of a Thousand Corpses, man, you better stick next to me because I'm not gonna just go down.
yeah, I will
I'm also gonna be
definitely.
the guy that if I'm sitting there still alive, you're like, Michael, are you okay? Is he near you? Yeah, he's down this hallway. God damn it, I'm in pain. Please shoot me.
Oh, well, it's been fun having you on here, Michael. I'm going to clear up the line to let some other people call in, but it
Oh
was
yeah, I know, I understand.
absolutely a great conversation. Thanks for calling in.
No problem.
All right, appreciate it, man. Talk to you later.
All right, I'm going right back to the chat. I'm going back right back to watching. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, that was pretty cool. I like it, and actually, it makes me happy that we're actually having people call in. And a funny thing is, I actually put a poll up, and it was like, "Hey, would you like to see more broadcast of Paranormal Talk on UNN?" And like right now, we have 4 votes. 3 of them say no. What is wrong with you people? Do you not like paranormal stuff? Yeah. See, I'm with Russ. I'm definitely the type that I'm not. I'm not going in the house. I've seen way too many scary movies. I've had way too much personal experience. I've had just bad experiences all around that tell me, you know what? Don't tempt fate. Don't go into this house. Don't walk off into the woods after you've just heard some creepy noise that can't be explained. Stay away from it. Don't bring out the Ouija board in the, middle of the night and try to contact whatever that noise was that you heard. No, definitely not. But if something attacks me and it wasn't agitated, then yeah, I mean, I guess it's either fight or die at that point. He voted no, it's still listening. I appreciate that. Because I think y'all know, like, I was looking for some confirmation from the audience that y'all wanted to see this, but even if everybody voted no, if I have enough fun doing it, I'm probably still going to do it. And there's still going to be the occasional person that'll listen. As long as people are still listening and people are still chatting in the chat and, all that good stuff, I'm probably still going to be doing it. Let's see here. I will actually make it a point to call here and see if this will work. Because I get a message and it's like, hey, I can't. It's like I can't figure out how to call you, and so now y'all get to hear the Google Hangouts call.
Ooh.
Hey there, you are on UNN. I'm assuming this is Raven.
Yep.
Howdy, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing.
I heard I'm doing, and then you cut out.
Oh, I'm doing fantastic.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so I'm dying to hear what is on your mind tonight. The stories you have to tell.
I have a couple different stories actually.
Oh, feel free. We're here till midnight.
Awesome. Well, there was a few different houses that I used to live in because my family used to move around a lot.
Okay.
The first house we lived in, my grandfather actually built himself. It was on a lake, and I remember they would tell me stories how people used to drown in the lake behind our house
Uh,
and everything.
now, did you ever go swimming in this lake?
Yeah, because they actually had a area where, you go down by what they call the clubhouse, and they have a safe place where you can go swimming, but, stupid people can do stupid things, go in the deep end where, there's seaweed, everything else, people get caught up in there.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Continue, please. Even though I'm over here like getting
But
the
our
chills.
house in general was really creepy to me. It was, I would like to say 4 stories because we had the second story, the main level, we had the first basement, and then we had a secondary basement. The secondary basement always creeped my older brother and myself out because we always would feel like there was something underneath. Like all kids feel like there's something underneath the stairs trying to get them,
Now, is
right?
this basement? This is like the lower of the two?
The lowest, the lowest basement.
Okay. Yeah. Screw that.
And our grandmother would always have us like go downstairs because that's where the deep freezer was and everything. We'd go down there. Both my brother and I we would hop the stairs. Like neither one of us wanted to go down there because we'd always know that there was something underneath those stairs.
Oh God.
And then on the top floor, the back bedroom, there's 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. The back bedroom, what we call the back bedroom, overlooked the lake. That bedroom was the worst bedroom to be assigned to sleep in.
This sounds like some straight up conjuring stuff going on here.
You would think so. You would think
I
so.
mean, because as soon as you tell me that there is a bedroom overlooking the lake, I automatically see the tree limb with the noose hanging. I mean that's what I'm seeing right now. That's in my mind's eye. So
We did have trees lining the house
uh,
because it was on the lake. You had trees. It was beautiful out there, but it didn't come without its quirks.
okay.
Now, my cousin, my brother, and I, we would switch off sleeping in that bedroom. And before it was ours, it was actually my uncle's bedroom. Now, my uncle was a serviceman. He served in the Navy, and while he was overseas, my great grandmother had passed away.
Okay.
And when he came home, now this is a story that I was told from my uncle about the back bedroom. He went to fall asleep in his bed, and the radio started to go off.
Is this like a communication radio or like a old
Like a
timey?
normal
Okay.
music radio that you would have like in the 80s, 90s,
Yeah.
the basic giant radio.
Uh huh.
And, he'd get up, check it would turn off, whatever, you know,
Uh.
and then he'd lay back down. It'll go off again. So it did this a couple times before he actually got up and checked, and it wasn't even plugged in. So that's when he started to get a little bit freaked out in his story. And then he laid back down in his bed thinking, okay, all right, leave it alone. It's going to do what it's going to do.
Uh.
And then all of a sudden, my great grandmother appeared above his bed
Oh.
to him as like, he likes to say, he took it as a sign of saying goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, the back bedroom became more demonic, I would like to say.
That's not
Because
good.
after myself and my cousin and we started to sleep in that room, um things start to happen. Things start to get worse. When he would sleep in that room, he could hear screams coming from the lake.
God.
Like, he would turn in his sleep. He'd have glances of what he would call this pilgrim lady sitting in the swivel chair that we had by the computer in that room. And then when I would sleep in there, it would feel like I couldn't breathe. It would feel like someone was always pressing on my chest. It feel like I would be grabbed in my sleep by the ankles, by the wrists. I would hear the same screams. I would catch glimpses of the same woman walking along the balcony, because the balcony wrapped around from my grandmother's room along the house to the window where the bedroom was.
Now these screams, you say they came from the lake, correct?
Yep. They
Um,
came from the
that
lake.
tells me, because I'm hearing, oh, people getting tangled up in seaweed and things like that. Hearing screams come from a lake doesn't tell me an accidental drowning. It tells me somebody was forcibly either drowned or just killed out there, or
It
somebody was murdered and the body was thrown in the lake or something like that.
it might have been, it was a man-made lake. We don't know what was found before they made that lake.
How old's the lake?
I would say, because the house was built about, I would say 38 years ago, 37 years ago, the house was built. So the lake itself has to be around 40 years old.
So this is a relatively new.
Yep, relatively new man-made lake.
Oh man, I don't. Because see, whenever you're telling me this, I was thinking maybe the house had been in the family since like the 1930s or something like that.
Nope.
But no, this is just that is, man. Like there's really so many people have died in that lake since like the mid 80s or something.
Something crazy like that. There's been, I think, maybe throwing a number out there, maybe 5 or 6. Not that many, but enough.
Like how big? I mean, I'm assuming the lake is small enough to where you could stand on one side of it. What, maybe throw a rock to the other side, or how big is
Well,
this?
going widthwise, you could probably stand on one side and you could clearly see the houses on the other side.
Yeah.
But lengthwise, it goes a couple miles.
Oh, so this isn't just like a little man-made, dug in a day
Yeah,
pond. This is a good, solid, body of
it's a
water.
good solid lake where you could go boating on, you can do all that stuff.
Okay. Whew. Yeah. Okay. Then there would be like no simple way to, people to get together and, look at the bottom of the lake and scuba dive.
No,
And yeah, so this
you
is,
could you could not see the bottom of that. Like if you went to the middle of that lake, you could not see the bottom.
it's funny in the chat, Russ says, my rule of thumb is if I can't see in the water, I'm not swimming in it. No, no skeletal hands dragging my ass under the water. That's the same thing with me. If that water ain't clear, I ain't getting in it. Let's see. We got some people being tagged in the chat. Michael says the pilgrim lady could either be someone who died in the area or family of someone who just disappeared and is looking for them. Someone who lost a family member to a murder. That
It's a possibility. I mean, the land may have been part of, you know, a trail that people took years ago to get from one side of the country to the
Yeah,
other.
there's no telling what was there. It was kind of like my situation that I was talking about earlier. There was another house there. I
Hmm.
never knew that the whole 35 years I grew up. And, then lo and behold, they dropped that bomb on me, at the beginning of this year. It's like, oh, guess what? Somebody died here, before you were ever born. And, that's probably the reason for all of our ills. So I'm like, oh, thanks. So,
Probably in about maybe 2 miles outside of Candlewick Lake, there is, which is the lake where, the house is,
yeah.
there's an old cemetery from with gravestones from spanning from the 1700s to the 1800s. There's not many gravestones left in that cemetery itself, but the ones that you can see, they're it's crumbling, it's hidden within like the tree line, and it's just really creepy itself. So it gets you wondering like if the cemetery expanded more towards into Candlewick Lake than that small little area.
Let me. I have the weird feeling we're probably going to be going past midnight tonight, which I'm not complaining because I honestly thought we were going to struggle to fill the hour. Um, but whenever, like growing up, my grandmother, aunt and uncle, cousins, grew up. I don't know if anybody knows where Mentone, Alabama is. It's almost the most
Mm-hmm.
northeastern small town in Alabama. It's like up on the mountain and out in the middle of nowhere. And my family is all from that area. And there was apparently a ghost. Nobody knows if she was a nurse or just a mother. I had like a second cousin or somebody who was staying up there and was really sick, had really bad breathing problems, and apparently in the middle of the night a woman came in there, put something on his chest, and the next morning he was fully rested, felt great, and everything. And he thought that somebody in the family had done that and helped him, but nobody had done it. And there's been ghost stories and stuff up there. Um, they actually found a marker, a grave that was from like the late 1800s of a man and a woman way out in the woods behind the house. I mean, we're talking half a mile, three quarters of a mile into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
There was a man who bought that property and wanted to develop on it, and he went out there about 15 years ago and completely bulldozed that grave marker down. And for about the next 2 years after that, we had I was staying the night at my cousin's one night, and he was sleeping in his bed, and they had a recliner in the bedroom that I was asleep in, and he woke up in the middle of the night screaming like somebody was trying to kill him, and he never did know why he woke up screaming. It was something that he never did, and my younger cousin, his sister, who's like 2 years younger than him, woke up in the middle of the night and her bed was levitating and it dropped to the ground as soon as she woke up. And so that guy ended up building a house on that property, and God only knows what the people living in that house have experienced in the past 10 years.
Dear Lord Jesus.
because that is not something that, like, if that was happening 3/4 of a mile away, imagine the just the overall negativity, and who knows? Like, I don't even want to know what was going on there. Let's see. Michael says, if you get a rule of thumb, if you get a bad feeling from your house, get the hell out. Don't let something evil bad touch your bum. Isn't a good idea. Um,
It's a little too late for that.
yeah. So you were saying you had a couple other stories.
Yeah, the second house that has clear memories for me was a house that my mother and I had moved into when she was about to have my little brother. Um, and that house was just horror central. And I remember on my brother's first birthday. Now, no one was in the house except for my grandmother, some other lady that I don't really recall who she was, and this little girl who had run in to go to the bathroom. She came outside to my mom and me. She's like, there's a man on top of your stairs holding a baby. And she's about maybe like 4 or 5, and I'm looking at her like, are you really? And she's like, yeah, there's a man dressed in all black on top of your stairs holding a
Huh.
baby. So we go back inside. And I'm looking on top of the stairs now. See, I'm the type of person that has to investigate things and see what's going on.
More power to you.
And I'm looking at top of the stairs. I look to her. I'm like, "Do you want to come upstairs with me to see?" I promise there's nothing there. And she's like, she was terrified. She was so petrified. She ran right back out the house. And so I continue up the stairs. Now I'm getting a creepy feeling and just kind of like, maybe this is a bad idea, but my crazy butt just keeps going up the stairs.
Ugh.
And I look, and you know how some attics, it's an open attic, but it has like the little door to it that leads to like another part of the attic?
Yeah, it's like a staple in a lot of
Yeah,
creepy horror movies.
that's how our house was. So I turn and I go past the little Devon in the wall where, that little door is, and it was wide open. And as soon as I saw it wide open, it slammed shut by itself. And I looked at it, I was like, hell no.
Oh God.
And I literally just calmly walked back down the stairs, and I looked to my mom. I'm like, Mom, I hate to say this, but we might have a freak in the attic.
Okay, now when you say freak, like, I don't know if that's like a slang term for ghost, or you're just legit thinking that, oh, we have some kind of weirdo that's gotten into the attic.
For me, it was like my way of staying calm and not actually trying to scare other people because it was a birthday party.
Yeah.
We were having my brother's first birthday party, and his my brother's grandma, who I also call grandma, is a pastor. Okay, so you already know where this is going to be headed.
Mm-hmm.
She called up some of her other pastor buddies, and don't you know, they went on and they started to anoint the house. They started to bless the house. And that is stirring the pot.
I think sometimes it works, just depending on the stubbornness of whatever's there.
Well, let me tell you, it did not work.
That's how I say
When
it.
they got to they put the blessing on my mama, they put the blessing on my baby brother, they put the blessing on my brother's dad, and then it came to me. They went to go put the blessing on me. The oil that they used burned my skin. It
Whoa!
burned my skin.
I've
To
never heard of that happening.
it burned. So they took me downstairs. They prayed over me. They did whatever they needed to do. And then, you know, they left. They went home. After that day, the house was never the same. We saw spirits of black cat roaming around the house. It was that cat was always there, always.
Was it a real cat? Like, were you ever able to?
No,
Oh,
it was see through, so I'm pretty sure it wasn't real.
oh yeah, I hope so. That's a new breed of cat. We'll have to get the
That's a new breed of
we'll
cat.
get on
I would
that.
love to have a see through cat. Maybe the allergies wouldn't exist.
Oh
But
man. Now, did you ever
and
like find cat hair around?
no,
Okay. Because I was saying sometimes if you see something like that, sometimes they'll leave a little bit of like a physical manifestation. You'll see, like
and
hair on
then
the furniture, things like that.
my mom has videos of how we have like those fold up chairs,
Yeah.
the lawn chairs.
Like the,
She has
yeah.
videos of because we had one sitting against the wall for the longest time. Didn't open, didn't do nothing. One day, she was video recording trying to talk to the spirits because she's crazy. She's crazy. She's trying to talk to these spirits and she's recording. And she stops at the chair and I'm sitting there and all of a sudden the chair just starts opening up by itself. The mesh for the cup holder started turning inside out by itself. And she's sitting there recording it. I'm looking at her like, Mama, will you stop aggravating the ghost?
Wow. I'm
And
not,
she has
ah.
pictures that she has caught that she caught in that bathroom of a black mass crawling up the bathroom wall as she's taking pictures. And just thinking about it just creeps me out.
Like,
And me and
I
and
almost,
her,
I want to ask, like, do you, is this like some stuff, like any of this, like photographic, anything? Like, is this something that like you could send us?
I will try to find those videos and stuff for you.
That would be awesome. Like we'll show that on the air one night if you get around to that. That would be
Like,
freaking cool.
it is crazy. And then my mom is into this hardcore. She has pictures of what she calls orbs and videos of orbs, even at her new place that she's at. She has pictures of these things. The most memorable video that I think she caught was of our old dog Buddha, and there is one giant orb playing with our dog.
Oh, cool. Now, see, I'll tell you, orbs. Like I said, I believe in everything, but orbs are one of those things that I tend to throw the most.
Shade at
Yeah, the
because you
most
don't know if it's
questions.
like dust or buds.
Yeah, and I belong to several paranormal groups of thousands of people, and people. It's like 10 times a day are showing these videos. Is this a ghost or an orb? 99.9% of the time, it's dust. You can tell by the way it's moving and stuff. And
Yeah,
the first thing, oh, my house is really clean. I don't care how clean your house is. There's freaking dust floating around now. But
but
with you
in the
saying,
movement,
yeah,
it looked like it was almost dancing with the
yeah,
dog.
you're saying the dog is playing with it. Now this is where I'm like, okay, we may have something here.
But even when I was like real little, my mom has like VHSs. Yes, VHS.
Yeah.
Something that we haven't used in years. Of me talking to these people, these entities.
Hmm.
And our very first apartment that we lived in, I must have been between ages 1 and 5 years old when we lived there. She would tell me how I would wake up screaming bloody murder. I would either be laughing hysterically, screaming bloody murder. Like, I would not sleep by myself for the life of me.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was at around that age. You know, I was telling stories about the house. I totally get that. That is.
But
I was gonna say, I hope that's a kid in the background.
yeah, that's my baby.
Because I was like,
Just talking about
okay.
paranormal stuff, and you just hear a baby cry.
Yeah, like, well.
Don't worry, it's my son.
Yeah, I was like, well, this conversation's over. Whew. Okay, good. I needed that reassurance. Oh. But actually, we are actually right at midnight, so I'm probably going to have to end. But Phil, thank you for calling in with this stuff because
Definitely.
You're
Well, I'm gonna have to go
yeah.
anyways because my baby's crying. So I'll talk to you later.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Okay, that was actually pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, freaking stories, y'all. And I wanna go in here and we had Sabrina Love who popped into the chat, and I'm going to read this word for word, just in case anybody's not following the chat. Says, scary story. My fiance's apartment in the Bronx was really haunted. When his grandmother was in rehabilitation, there was a small bucket full of little random things that randomly fell twice. The bucket was on top of a shelf full of dust. The marks on the dust were unworldly. The marks began with pointy fingers, and the marks followed underneath where the bucket had been. Let's see, if the bucket had been pushed off, you would have seen the dust marks. Yeah, pretty much. Swipe. But no, the bucket was still in a complete circle, and like it was lifted. No one had access to the apartment. Also, the bucket on the floor was perfectly upside down with the items originally inside on the side of the bucket. What the crap? Oh man. But yeah, I mean, I know everybody has more stories, but I don't want our first. I know I said, we're cool with making it go a little late, but we're at midnight now, and I don't want to like drag this out too long. But I mean, really, I'm seeing that we have a lot of info, a lot of stories to cover. I can go ahead and tell y'all we're probably going to do this next week. I want to make this a regular Tuesday night thing as long as people will watch and interact. If you have anybody who cares and wants to listen in on some creepy stuff, feel free to let them know we're going live at 11 on Tuesdays. I just wanted to kind of test the waters tonight and see if there was an interest, and sure enough there is. Yeah, I mean, Michael, Raven, thanks everybody for calling in. We're totally down to hear some more stuff later on, and it's good because I wasn't able to give everything that I had in mind tonight, but that's a good thing because we're going to save it till next week. And I'm also going to probably spend the week trying to get a hold of at least one of my family members to see if I can get somebody like my aunt, who is my mom's sister, or somebody else maybe call in and talk to us about some of the creepy stuff that happened at the old homestead way back when. So I think that'd be really cool if we could make that happen at some point. Might not be next week, but maybe if I can pull some strings, we'll make that happen. But I really appreciate everybody coming on and hanging out with me tonight. This has been super fun. I think at some point tonight it might be a little bit later because we're just now hitting midnight. I want to kind of kick back, watch a movie. At some point, either this week or next week, I want to watch Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I'm going to have to find somebody local to go with me to see that. And then It Chapter 2 is coming out, I think, September 6th. Does that sound right? I think the September 6th is when that's coming out. But we're going to start talking about some horror movies. We're going to talk about real life experiences. We're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff. So, anyway, we are past midnight now. Thank you all very, very much for coming on and making tonight a awesome success. We will be reposting this on our YouTube channel here shortly. And keep in mind, we will be doing video game live streams very early in the morning, usually around 4 a.m. Eastern Time. That's usually after I get off work. And we're going to start doing this every Tuesday night at 11, as long as the audience is there and as long as people care. So thank you for joining me tonight. This has been Paranormal Talk with Lonnie on Untitled Nerd Network. We will see everybody next week. Michael says, Lonnie, hold on. What is it, Michael? You better be quick because dinner's calling my name. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you I'm not going to be adding more time tonight. Oh, Lord, no, dude. I'm going to be going from like 11. When I say I'm adding more time, I'm talking about 12:30. You know, I'm not going to do this. We're not going to do a 3-hour show. It's just not going to happen. Like there's no way my voice box or anything else can take that. I'm not going to do a 3-hour talk show or a 4-hour talk show. We're going to start at 11 and then we might go till 1 a.m. Maybe. But that's like the absolute latest. We'll never do more than a 2-hour show, y'all. Don't worry, I'm not going to keep everybody here all night. But yeah, thank y'all for hanging out with me. And if you have anything to add or if you want to tell any stories or anything, shoot us a message here at Untitled Nerd Network. Feel free. And as always, we'd love to hear from you next time we're on the air. If you have any friends who have some stories, variety is the spice of life. So we'll see everybody later on tonight. And if your video games aren't your thing, see you next Tuesday. Thank you for joining me. I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux out of Hickson, Tennessee, your local satanist out of Chattanooga. And thanks for hanging out with me.